This is sort of directed at the inverter community, okay? Because this is the truth, right? Where the rubber hits the pavement when you talk about polarity integration, between negative and positive magnetic polarity, right? So what prompted me to do this is the NBA Finals just ended, and the Denver Nuggets. Denver, congratulations! You won your first NBA World Championship with a guy from Serbia, a big man, right? So here we have a high subscription rate, Fox FX1 Sports Media. It's get this. The name of the show is called Cowherd. Colin Cowherd. Colin Cowherd. Colin, Coln, but it's pronounced Colin the Herd. Colin the Herd. So I just listened to a young man who's now out of the NBA. He was with the Golden State Warriors when they were a dynasty in basketball. And he said something very prolific about players coming into the league, right? And he said, they monetize our talents. Bingo. That's right. They monetize your talents, and that's known as the Roman Arena, the Roman Gladiator Arena, the entertainment venue. So what this means is that you already know that money cannot buy love, okay? But love will give you everything you need, and that's what love is, okay? So you can see the difference between inverters and accelerators, which means what we're giving you comes for free, right? Because it doesn't charge us anything to love you forever and always. So you're getting everything that you need, okay? So when you're needing to monetize your talents in order to keep accumulating electrons, right, then you haven't healed. Because it means when you experience the one, the first electron, if you hold the one captive, then you're not accelerating any electrons, which means everyone else in the cosmos is not getting any electrons. So you don't want to hold any electrons captive by accumulating them by monetizing your talents. Otherwise, you're going to slow way down density, right? Like really bad density. Because all those electrons are coming to you for free. And guess who's providing them for you? Us. So we're giving you what we give you for free with your electrons, and now you're holding on to all of them. That's not fair, is it? And you know why that's not fair? Remember what's his name on Fox News, Bill O'Reilly? Fair and balanced. You know what a fair playing field is, right? That's called equal distribution of water tables, of sonic waves, experiencing the first radio wave. The first radio wave is the atom cell, the first atom, the first spiral. First crystal liquid consciousness spiral, like liquid magma. Consciousness magma, bioplasma. So when you're holding on to electrons, you're holding on to electrons out of fear to let go. Okay, and you know why that is? Abuse. Abuse gets passed on through the lines of communication, actually throughout the entire morphogenetic field structure, because the one experiences it. The one is everywhere. And that's how I experienced it when I first came in and began realizing that at age 4. I keep losing more of what I'm giving love to. Why is that? Because of all the inverters that are accumulating all the electrons we're giving away for free in order to slow the universe down, which means it's not healing. So we got to crank it up the other way, right? Bring more light in here. That's right. And clear the servers. All the things we're all being held captive to. And what we're being held captive to is our own energy, which means we're not letting go of all of our electrons. And we don't let go of electrons is out of fear. If I let go of that last one, that means I have to trust the one implicitly in order to experience forever by letting go of every electron because I'm healing. which means I know the one will always love me and forgive me for what I've done, because the one is always there to love you, regardless of what you've done, because you're always home. There is always a line of communication, home, and that is the first line of communication, which is the vertical spiral. That's right, the rod, the one, right? And then we have the horizontal plane, right? The electromagnetic energy, the full spectrum. Everything inside that sphere is experiencing what love is, which is equidistance, which is equal distribution. Everyone's getting love within that sphere. That light is pure. That love is pure. That love is real. That's what it means to get real. We used to say that when I was a child growing up. Get real. Get real is real energy. Knowing the difference between real energy and living energy and dead energy. Right? So we're living energy. So you see what happens, well, how the inverters, right, are harvesting the electrons, right, from the electron givers. And so it's because they haven't healed. They live in fear of letting go. So now you end up with a tug of war between the inverters and the accelerators, right? Tug of war. I still need you. I need your energy. I need your electrons. So it wasn't a coincidence that I experienced, I believe his name was Mr. Livingston, who was at the Golden State Warriors, talking about, I'm a commodity, man. I'm for sale. The highest bidder. I spent my whole life at my craft becoming a great basketball player. Remember that book called Shut Up and Dribble? You're there to make money for bigger vampires, right? The Roman Arena. The carnival barkers, the snake oil salesmen, right? And those, sadly, are what are known as expendables, because they're the first one to get thrown overboard when the shit hits the fan. How could they not know that? Because they bought the Kool-Aid. They bought the perception of power is inverted, and believe by having more than others, that's their security, their energy security. That's not their energy security. That's false. That's what a false positive is. That's believing in a lie, which means they're living in fear of letting go, because they're in fear of experiencing what love is. That's what it is as a result of trauma. So what happens is as the healing comes in, they begin to let go more and more of what was holding us captive, that was running as the programs that was holding us captive. And that would be all the inverters, which is really stealing energy. But I cry for them every day, because what they need is healing. It's just like I've shared this story before, I think a couple of times. Different parts of it that are related to other experiences. But when I had gotten busted for using drugs, now remember I wrote my timeline. I was supposed to experience this. Okay, I was using drugs. That's mainlining heroin. Okay, everything actually. I was experimenting with everything. I had to experience everything. Remember, I'm 4 years of age. I want to experience everything that's possible to experience. Right? Because you are everything I am. So if a part of what you are is what I am, then I got to experience what you're experiencing, because I'm just as much what you're experiencing as I am. Is that why you became a drug addict? Yes. Same as an alcoholic. Okay? Because how am I going to heal you if I haven't learned how to heal me as a result of experiencing what you've experienced? You see how that works? Because it's all about holding energy captive. Right? I got to control this. I can't let go. And they cannot let go out of fear of losing energy by trusting the one. And that is a lie. So they live in fear of letting go. And they live in fear of letting go because of what's been done that's held in their record, which is their memory. Because it's all there. The entire cosmic history and the Cosmina records is all there. You cannot hide from the one. The one knows it all. And that is an eternal blessing, which is an eternal gift, because it means that you have the first line of communication that you're always with, to not ever have to worry that everything's going to be just fine when you're with the one. And that's called implicit trust, which is living in the truth, which is experiencing what love is. It goes on forever, because we know that's from whence it first began. And that's basic logic. So the psychopath lives in a lie because it doesn't know that, because it doesn't believe that. And the reason that it doesn't believe that is because it lives in fear of that. And that's the lie that their mind lives in. Right? What happened to their soul? So in this case, it's artificial intelligence. Now we're back to knowing one from the other. Something that's dead, something that's alive. And that's why when I was a little kid, I realized that they're just as much teachers as we are. And the reason that they do what they do is to fool us. That they are what we are, and they're not. Which one am I? I'm both. How could I be both? Because when you become aware of something that's in creation, and you are what love is gone forever, and it began with you, then you realize since you're first, that came second. Oh, so that came second. Now I know the difference between what came first and what came second. That's knowing one from the other. Knowing darkness from light. Because the light is always on. That light is never off. I know, it's too simple, isn't it? So I want to thank that gentleman for what he said, right? And what's really painful for this is because when I was going to school at the University of Arkansas, there was a young man that used to sit right next to me in one of my classes. And he was on the football team at the University of Arkansas, you know, the Razorbacks, the Hogs. And he was considered to be one of the top college football players for that position, who had an easy meal ticket to go right into the NFL, and that's a lot of money. All the tennis shoe endorsements and all the rest of it, right? So we were sitting around having a conversation about sports media, athletes that are in the school, right? Because in the Department of Education, Graduate School of Education, there were a lot of athletes there that were, the only reason they were in school, and they'll tell you, okay, is to get a ticket into professional sports to make money. That meant that school was nothing more than a stepping stone, like chutes and ladders, right? It's just a means to an end. Exactly, it's a means to an end. The end of history and the rebirth of goddess energy. And so what happened is with this guy, as he told me, everybody at the table, the only reason that I'm even at this school, okay, is to get into the NFL. Because the University of Arkansas, the Hogs are in the SEC. So if you know anything about college football, the SEC is considered to be the premier elite conference, okay, in the entire national, not national football, but NCAA college football arena, right, is the SEC. That's where Alabama is, Auburn, Florida, right, and all those folks. So that's a fast ticket, right, into the NFL and making money. So this is all about making money. This is all about accumulating electrons. So this guy Livingston, who was part of the NBA, was talking about, yeah, that all these scouts that they said, you know, this all begins actually in childhood from abuse. You know, energy harvesting. I got to find some way to make sure that I got as many electrons as I can possibly have, because the bigger that number, the better I feel. That means it's like having more money is less fear. I know. It's nuts, isn't it? I grew up with this stuff when I was a little kid. I am very, very eternally blessed. to know the difference between an inverter and an accelerator. And that really is knowing your identity. So a lot of times when I saw the stage, being in a movie, you're making role characters, like a character maps, and computer-generated images, hypertext protocols, computer-generated images. So it's like these teachers that I'm experiencing in this video game, that's running all these programs, right? You're actually mapping who the characters are by virtue of how many electrons they're holding on to and how much light they're experiencing, which is a speed measurement. You're making a torque speed measurement of the vortex. Are these folks in balance? No. So you realize there are distortions everywhere. So it's a massive transmutation job to clear all the distortions, so folks are sending a clear signal so people can understand what you're sending. Because the waves are not in balance. So you have all these distorted radio sets with circuits breaking all over the place. Through all of the circuits with the neurons, right? And the electromagnetic polarity game that gets played between ping pong and binary coded voltage. Division. It's always division. See, division. North and south. Right? Red pill, blue pill. Hey, purple. So it's going to be interesting going forward, and particularly over the next couple months as servers are getting cleared, right? Because a big deal out of this is because the NBA just finished. There was one show that I sort of monitored between how they played ping pong with each other, between somebody who played in the NFL and somebody who was always a journalist, which I figure most folks know the mass media was basically run by the CIA, right? Mass media, mass as in population, mass density, the electrical density of the consciousness, which is the mass. How many folks do we got in Southern California, right? 12 million, right? Well, you can make a mass measurement on that population of that consciousness. You can actually measure the torque speed of them folks down there, between givers and takers. Remember electron donors? Between acid and alkaline. Acid batteries, alkaline batteries. Acid batteries, alkaline. The tug of war. Yeah. And so you see what that does to the planetary consciousness field, right? It's an insane asylum. It is. It's a mentally ill triage center. So that it becomes very delicate in the art of communication through the Schumann resonance, The sun dial the sun in. Dial the sun in. Dial the meter, right? Dial the wave in. The dial on the AM, FM, PM grids. The radio station, the stereo station. What radio station are we playing, right? I play Pink Diamond Flowers, Flower Power.